Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, it's almost my favorite time of year. There's a cool breeze in the air, the leaves are falling, there's football on TV again, and we can't forget Halloween. So all this Halloween spirit inspired me to draw this, a little black scaredy cat hiding behind a jack-o'-lantern. So follow along and create your own Halloween themed artwork. And to have your art featured on the next episode, visit kaleidoscopeartclub.com and click on the Submit Your Art button. So for this drawing, I'm really using some simple shapes, just an oval for the jack-o'-lantern, another half oval shape for the head of the cat, two simple circles for the eyes, and I'm drawing the cat's eyes looking up and to the left, so only a little bit of the white of the eye will show in the bottom right. Now I'll move on to the ears, so just some simple triangular shapes for the ears, doing the same on both sides. And after we clean up some of the lines, we can move on to the inside of the ear. So just going to include a few indications of some hairs. And now I'll move on to the witch's hat. So here I'm just laying in where I want the bottom of the hat to be. And I thought it would be cute to have the ears poking out of the hat. And I want the hat to look a little bit older with some folds in it. So instead of having the hat be straight and to a point at the top, I'll have it folding over. Here I'm just erasing the top of the oval shape for the head, and I wanted to add a buckle and sort of a belt around the hat. So here I'm just laying that out. And I have to apologize, I lost some footage of adding in the vertical lines on the pumpkin. Here I'm adding in just some simple triangles for the eyes, and I'll do the same thing for the nose. And now I'm moving on to the mouth. So I'm just going to give him a big smile. And then after erasing some of the extra vertical lines, I'll come in and add some teeth. So just some easy rectangles for the teeth. You can space the teeth out any way you like. You can make the teeth sharp and pointy if you want it to be a little bit more spooky, or just some simple rectangle shapes like I have. Now after cleaning up some of our extra lines, we can move on to the paws. So just some more simple oval shapes. And I'm going to draw one on either side of the jack-o'-lantern for his front paws, and then I'm only going to draw one of his back paws because I'm going to include the tail on the other side. And with the tail, I want it to look like it's coming out and wrapping around the front of the jack-o'-lantern. And then we'll do a little bit of a curl coming to a point. And here I'm just adding in the indication of some toes. So just two simple curved lines. We'll do the same on both sides. And then the same two curved lines on the back foot. And now that we have our sketch all complete, I've gone in with a kneaded eraser and erased out most of the line, just leaving a little bit visible so I can come back in with my Sharpie and outline all of the artwork and get it ready for coloring. So on to the coloring. I've started out with a light gray. I've picked a light gray, a medium gray, and basically a black marker. So I'm going to fill in all of the cat with the light gray first, and then I can move on to add the darker colors for shading. Here I'm coming in with the medium gray color, and using multiple colors like I'm doing here really adds to the drawing to make it look more realistic, because you're building up layers instead of just having one flat color. So you'll tell as I go along that I'm not only filling in the color, but I'm also doing it in strokes to where it looks like fur. I'm also deciding where I want to put the darkest colors for the darkest shadows. I'm going to eventually come in with the black marker as the final darkness of the shaded area, but right now I'm just again using layers to build that up and to mark where I want to add the final darkest shadows. So here I'm coming in with that black marker now, and I've already determined where I want the darkest areas. I'm going to use this black marker to darken up some of those dark areas even more, and this is just going to give us another layer of color to again make this drawing appear even more realistic. I'm not really going for realism here, but even in a cartoon-like drawing like this, it helps to build in as many layers as possible. So I'm going to be using colored pencils after I'm done with the markers to add even more layers to bring out even more character in this drawing. So what are your favorite memories from Halloween and trick-or-treating? If you're older, do you have any memories that stand out while you're trick-or-treating? Or even if you're younger, do you have some recent memories? For me, I have a couple of memories that stand out. I remember the first and only time that I actually got a trick when I asked trick or treat. Now, I don't know about you, but when you go trick or treating, you're looking for a treat. So it was shocking when I actually had somebody do a card trick for me instead of the treat. looking back out on it, it was kind of cool to have that experience. But as a kid, you're, definitely looking for that treat rather than a trick. Um, and then one other memory in that same time period, another man gave me a little stack of nickels uh, instead of candy. So that was interesting as well. But I don't know, do you guys have any stories like that to share in the comments? Another thing I can think of that I always enjoyed was having my mom take us and drop us off in the rich area of town, um, because, you know, there was always the possibility of getting that full size candy bar instead of the, little fun size candy bar that you get. It was always cool, to get a full size Snickers, for instance. But yeah, like I said, let me know in the comments below what memories you might have that stand out to you even to today. So as I've been talking, I'm just going through here and building layers and showing the wrinkles that you might see in a pumpkin skin. So the darker orange marker is showing the shadows, and I'm leaving space for the lighter orange to show through and indicate the highlighted areas. I decided to go with some yellow eyes, nose, and mouth. I wanted to kind of make it look like they were glowing. Maybe there's a light inside, so I'm starting out filling in the whole area with a lighter yellow, and then I will go in with a darker yellow and outline the eyes, nose, and mouth. And then eventually I'm going to use a white colored pencil and then fill in the inside of those areas. And that should help make it look like it's glowing. Now on to filling in the witch's hat. I'm starting out with the medium dark gray, and then I can go back in with the darkest gray to show some shadows. So here I have the darkest gray, and I'm building in the dark areas. Now I'm going to use a purple color for the band or the belt area around the hat. And then I'll come back in with a darker purple to show the shadows. And then I'm just adding some little vertical lines to give some texture to the band. Now it's time to move on to the eyes. So even though it's a white area of the eye, there will still be some shadows. So I'm going in with a really light gray. And I decided to go with a bright green for the eyes. So I'm going to start with the lightest color first, and then I'll come in with a little bit darker green, and that will help to round out the eyes. So I'm doing the dark green, and then I'm going back to the light green, and I just keep switching between the light and the dark so that they can blend together and look smooth. And here I'm just filling in the pupils with my black marker. And then I'll come back in with a little bit darker gray for the white of the eyes, for the shadows. And now I'm using my ultrafine sharpie to just clean up the lines around the pupils and to add some more detail to the fur. Now I'm using a white gel pen to come in and create some little highlights on the eyes. And then I want to make the buckle look a little bit metallic, so I'm going to cover it all with light gray, and then I'll come back in with a darker gray for the shadows, and I'll eventually use my gel pen for the highlights. Here I'm coming in with that white gel pen just to indicate some really bright highlights. And now I'll come in with my white colored pencil just to tone down some of the bright highlights and to bring all of the highlight area together. Here I'm using a light purple for the highlights on the band. And now I'm using my ultrafine sharpie again to clean up the line work around the pupils. And now I'm using a dark orange to make the cutouts appear deeper. And now I'll come back through with my black colored pencil to add the final dark shadows. Now I'm back to my white colored pencil and I'm going to add in the brightest part of the cutouts to make them really glow. And here I'm adding some yellow highlights to the eyes. And here's the final artwork. And unfortunately I lost some footage, but I did go back through and change the color of the hat to blue and do a little bit more work on the pumpkin. But you did get to see most of the artwork. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode. I sure hope you enjoyed watching it, because I sure enjoyed making it. As always, thank you for watching. Please make sure to click the like button, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when another video like this one comes out. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.